on day ones. It's your Mega Man or C, and it's forever in a day with C. And thank you very much for your patience, and we appreciate the time that you've had to digest our first Love Is episode. This time around, we have the ability to touch on what you all have not seen since the last time we spoke, but also complete the activity where we started with two, and today we'll finish with two qualities that love is. We'll start with just checking in with each other, and we'll go first. Kay, how have you been?
I'm okay. I'm dealing with women things right now. All of you women, you understand that time of the month. Mine hasn't happened yet, but it's almost there. So I'm dealing with that. I'm a little somber at the moment. Um, my what is it called? What is it called? Before the actual time of the month happens, I get really constipated, and it just I'm very annoyed at the moment. But other than that, I'm all right. What about you?
I'm thankful. Life has been moving as it should, and I've been challenging myself to see it as the way as it's supposed to be, removing younger mindsets from whether things go good or bad, if there's a such thing as that. Just embracing the fact that I appreciate every moment that I have here. And I'd like to say, for me, an indicator of life progressing the right direction is that my hair grows. And if you notice from episode one to now, I have a different form of hair protection. So I believe that I'm thankful and I'm resilient. And I appreciate you all just being patient and allowing us to do the same thing that you do by living your life. So, moving forward, love is inspired from a show that we saw. We detailed those things. And I had to be stopped from wanting to be so excited about a show that I've seen and wanting to parallel what love is in actual life for myself, and encouraging you all to have the same reflection, if you will. We are curious to know what love is for yourself, first and foremost, and if you are of a couple variety, what that has been for you all personally, because the idea of the show is to be provoking, and in every way, shape, or form, I believe anything that you digest or ingest mentally, spiritually, and physically, you should be able to bridge a connection by reflecting in your own way, because essentially that's what you're connecting to when you channel, literally channel these different energies that come out of this television, if you will. So since that time, for me, I'll just go right into it. Love has been standing in for my partner and knowing when to stand down from any sort of ideology or anything that I may be comfortable doing versus what my partner may be comfortable doing.
What did it mean standing in?
Standing in the event, for example, with this particular, if you will, if there was an issue about you feeling a certain type of way.
Mm-hmm.
In certain climates, you wouldn't be allowed to not be your best self, whatever that may be. You have to be a chipper version of yourself. You have to be a feminized version of yourself, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
And you will have to present an idea of what you may not be inside at that time without diminishing your soul. I feel like what you are showing right now is important.
Mm-hmm.
Standing in for that is not feeling frustrated, not thinking that you have to be presented a certain way, and really appreciating, like I said, personally, the experience of being able to have such substance and content, because we always bring that.
Mm-hmm.
Standing in that way allows for no one to assume that something is wrong, but transparency is important here. There is nothing wrong. These are the things that are being dealt with as we continue to bring content to you all. And people, I appreciate you all checking that out. So that would be an example for me. Do you have one that you would like to consider at this time?
I guess I've had to just continue to be patient because I asked earlier on for a person, or when we were talking, like I needed a person that was patient. So understanding that I'm not the only one that is dealing with, growing pains and healing and all of that stuff like that. So being patient with his ebbs and flows too, and not just expecting for him to be 100% all the time and requiring so much from him.
Mm. Mm.
So in that, just having to recognize that I'm not the only one in the situation, and I'm not the only one that has to heal from certain things or working through certain things. So just trying to be as patient with him as I ask of him to be with me.
Mm. That substance. I literally 5 seconds after saying it, bam, right then and there. I had no idea that that was going to be said. As the partner,
I think it's ever rehearsed.
nothing, bruh.
We
Like,
just talked to
I wasn't ready for that, and my inner child has done a lot of work from the very first episode you've seen to this very moment, and those things keep you going. Affirmation is one of my love languages, but to hear it from someone that can do it very well, but has always been required to do things that they may not have connected to be able to be a part of that in a historic moment shows growth, and brings me to my next point, if you will. You got to know when to stand down. In the very same way of exhibiting the patience that she proved as her point, first point, standing down is knowing, for example, okay, today this is what we are operating out of. These are the circumstances that are being projected towards us from the world around us. And I think that is a big point as well. When you stand down and you step back, you get to see how people feel about themselves. And your job is to not internalize that. And that is something that she brought to my attention. That is something that I do. I can internalize a struggle and make it personal to the point that someone cannot express themselves, express how they either do not want to connect to it or connect to it because of my own personal upbringing, and always having to solve your own problems and not actually having someone work through the mental processes that are happening when you grow or you don't grow as a result of having to do things that you had no idea you had to do. And fast forward to 32 years of age, standing down is like, you know what? I could go above and beyond and be that person for my partner and everything that she asks in typical relationships that you would see. But you will forget about yourself, and that's the thing that she's holding me accountable to. Do not forget about yourself. So for her to say the patience and for her to notice when I take my step back is powerful, because that's something that I personally haven't been allowed to do. And when you do that, you get to see how people truly feel about you, and that's where I feel like the unconditionality works, and we're allowed to be the best versions of ourselves for each other. Would you have another point to contribute?
I'd have to say just not overstepping. I guess kind of correlated with the whole standing down, just not overstepping, because a lot of times, although traumas could be similar, they're not completely the same. And so what you may feel like you would need in certain situations, the other person, or more specifically you, may not need exactly what I would need, and not trying to go above and beyond giving you what I think I would need in the situation, because I feel like that is connected to trauma.
Agreed.
So just doing better with not trying to overstep, and allowing you to ebb and flow in the way in which you need to, but still offering the support at the same time.
I would also touch and agree of culture and identities in certain ways things have been done. When it comes to being family with family, I would say.
And not internalizing if the person doesn't want what you are trying to offer.
Right.
Because it can trigger, in my case, I've had to deal with abandonment issues or whatever. So it can trigger those types of traumas. And so just working through not internalizing and accepting, not everybody may need what you need. And sometimes they may need it, but they may not need it in the same way.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But that will also speak to the trauma that will be connected to some sort of rearing and upbringing. Just because the traumas may be similar, just because you may not need the same things to alleviate that trauma, doesn't mean what the byproduct of what you've been through with that trauma is how you go about living your life today.
Right.
You do not take that and you don't timestamp yourself in the present by things that you felt like were the best actions previously. Meaning that in order for someone to step up or stand down or have patience or allowing your partner to ebb and flow, you rework your entire mainframe, because you have to understand that everything that you may feel like is the best version of yourself may be connected to trauma.
Yeah.
Which means you probably shouldn't use it in present time to unconditionally love someone, because that's where you see in relationships people like, I need this needs to be done. These things are setting parameters for your safety, but it's not making the person that you're requiring to do that safe, whether that's physicality and feminism, financiality and masculinity, violence in general, how someone seems to want to be defended.
Yeah.
You have to understand that that parent didn't do that for you, and you have to attribute a new form of progress in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
Because your best advices may not be good for that person or good for the situation you're in.
I agree.
You kind of like threw the lob, so other than that, I feel like where we're headed next, because we have another episode coming shortly, I wanted to touch on, I guess, where we meet in the middle with all of this, right? And it comes down to affection. Affection was a certain way in your upbringing. Affection was a certain way in mine, right?
Yeah, I know for me, as far as affection goes, in my upbringing, it wasn't healthy.
Say the same.
The way in which it was presented was through emotional trauma experienced by my parent, and because there was something that was lacking in my parents' upbringing, there wasn't really a healthy way in trying to give it to us, my brother and myself. I'll say that she definitely tried her best, but because there was no foundation of true understanding of how to healthily, is that a word? I think so. How to
I'm
give.
gonna stand with you on that. Healthily
How
is what
to
we're using
give
right now.
Love and affection in
Comment
a healthy
in the
way.
section below.
I never really understood it, and now in my healing process, I'm at the point where I'm not. I'm trying to figure out what that looks like for me. Affection and intimacy. I'm gonna be honest and true with you guys. I'm not really into having intercourse at the moment, and I feel like that stems from a lot of the trauma that I had experienced prior to. And as I have been really dealing and going deep within with healing my inner child and a lot of what I have experienced up until this point, I have really been able to tap into what I like, what I don't like, and being okay with what that looks like. I think part of what you were saying not too long ago in this conversation, a lot of times what we go through or whatever can shape an idea of what we think we want and what we think we need. But as you heal and work through a lot of stuff, what you thought was something that you wanted or needed isn't that at all. And that can be in relationships, that can be with career, that can be in any type of situation, honestly. So for me, because my connection with affection was from a very unstable emotional space, I've had to really work through that for myself.
Right. Let's not give them the meat and potatoes of the next episode, but you definitely left. No, you did very well in leaving, why affection was the word of choice. For
Mhm.
myself, it was a lack thereof, a lot of connection, a lot of affection. So, in a lot of my connections in intimate relationships or just in relationships, period, you either in a situation where you're in an environment with people that build camaraderie on how stoic you could be at the most proper form, and
Mhm.
at the worst form, it was who showed emotion was the weakest, if that makes sense. Whether that would
Especially in the men's world.
right, you're dealing with that, and then me as a slender man, a man that never wanted to attract people from what they saw on the outside, you would have to defend against being stronger or bulkier. It comes from the industrial complex where we have elders that have done so much time in the institution that they have to work out their life through their bodies, and I'm not sure if they're not making that connection, but they bring the institutional mentality back to the institution that is the projects, if you will, and then you create this in the institution, that school, with people that you may connect with from the similar environment, because you're connecting again because of trauma, and you're like, that's all you know, so that's where you go from there. So when it comes to the needs of a partner in general, wanting that love and affection, you always like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
You always second guess your own connection to that, and I'm so patient with myself and others because I truly want people to
Most
understand.
times. Because there are some times when you are chaotic and it comes out. But for the most part, he is very patient with himself and other people. But there are moments, just like everybody has their moments, where we have to be very honest.
Well, if I may, the reason why those lack thereof moments, if you will, where I lack patience, is because of the stoicness that I've always had to possess. You have to be calm and cool under pressure, and I appreciate your input with that point. It's the rest of the world in my mind operating in this way where they just can't be balanced. So it annoys me. It annoys me to the fact that people have a reason to complain about things, and they have no idea what most people have been through in their lives. And I can't begin to illustrate that, because once I do that, people realize like, oh, he's been through some stuff. I can't compare to that. But it's all traumatic, and it's all for the sake of one person being quiet and one person talking. And that's what I come from, that environment, in every which way that I've associated with it, and the lack there of patience that she elegantly pointed out, respectfully, hand gesture on the arm. You saw me, you know, because you have to understand that patience looks different for other people.
And how you experience something can be different from the other person's point of view.
Right.
So
Right.
it's okay. And that's okay, because not everybody thinks the same way. Not everybody experiences a situation in the same way. So being open to understanding that is a good thing.
Yes, and unconditionality allows for these conversations to happen in front of you and not feel like, oh, I can't have them too. That's the entire point of this channel. If you process anything as well less than from either one of us, understand that you may connect to that. And
Yeah.
not connecting to that is the entire goal here. We have a few more seconds. Anything you want to say before we head out? Thank you very much. I would like to for your contribution today, despite how you may be presenting yourself to the world. You are
Yeah,
love, and I
I
definitely
am. Well,
appreciate
I'm
your
not gonna lie
mindset.
to you guys. Like I said earlier, I am definitely a little off dealing with my womanly personal things, and then my health. Period. Just there's a lot of new things going on with my body that has not happened in my 32 years of life. In these last couple years, there's been a lot of health changes, and just trying to understand all of that. And so I had a health episode in the wee hours of the morning, and so my body is still kind of trying to regulate itself right now. But I'm thankful that I was able to push through and actually give you guys my perspective on this topic.
Love is a lot of things, and in order for you to actually influence it in your life, you have to understand you have to come from an unconditional place.
Yeah.
To be held accountable in order to step up for someone when they need you to, quote, need you to. You don't have to compensate who you are by being with someone else, but what you can do is be a better version of yourself as a result of someone unconditionally observing and loving you in a way.
Did you say unconditionally?
Unconditionally. Is that a word? I think I said bleed or lead. That's two ones that we gotta figure out. Healthily and unconditionally. I don't think I meant to say that, but unconditionally is the proper word to use. And just channel it. Channel the imperfections and enjoy them with someone else, so you don't enforce yourself to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And we know that too well personally. And as a young person, you get excited to want to be with that, but this is what it really looks like. Actually working together for a greater good and not your own good. And
Love is not
working your
perfect,
good.
and I feel like a lot of times we buy into the idea of what the media sells us about love, and so you would have this big, huge expectation of what it's supposed to look like. But love isn't perfect, and you're not always going to love the person that you're with, because you go through a lot of different things. Sometimes at the same time, sometimes not at the same time, and so you have to have a mutual respect and trust. I feel like that has to be a good foundation, because you can love a person, but if there's no respect, or if there's no trust and understanding of how things go, separately and together, then that foundation is going to crumble. Like, you can't just build relationships off of love, because love isn't perfect, and you're not perfect, and just like you have your problems, the other person will too. So
very well.
that's why
It's been Forever and a Day with C and
KENDDRA.
oh my God, Base God, she just swagged on y'all real cool. She just, that's what she do. She let you know what's up. It's not all bad. Ain't no such thing as bad. It's all good, know what I mean? But you all be well. Take this with you. We just want to let you know we've been all right. We just thank you for your positivity. We send it back
Thank
to you.
you for your patience
and keep
with
us
us.
lifted. Yes.
Yeah, because like we told you guys in the beginning, we are ebbing and flowing. So we would love to keep cranking out these episodes, but there is no rush in cranking them out. But they're coming.
We got one coming short.
We have another one coming after this one.
Enjoy this one for now, though. You be blessed. Or you be thankful, protections, prosperity. We do love you for sure, and we appreciate you. Our A1 Day ones.
For sure.
Peace.